Do you live in a house? 4 walls with a roof over your head? Do you give thousands of dollars to someone else for that luxury, only to cry each month as those dollars slip out of your bank account? Well, what if I told you there was a way to get something out of that money? Other than, a place to live, of course. Enter the Bilt credit card. The Bilt Rewards Card, as far as I'm aware, is the only way that you can get rewards points off of your rent payments every month. This pretty hefty metal card right here is issued by Bilt, and its main feature is that you can earn rewards points on rent, but it's got a couple of other interesting features such as reward multipliers for dining, travel. It's got 0 annual fee. It's got transfer partners similar to Chase and Amex. And did I mention that there was no annual fee? Now you might be wondering, what's the catch? Well, we'll get to that later. But first, who even is Bilt? So Bilt is actually a fintech company that created the rewards program around this card, but Wells Fargo is the one who's actually doing the banking stuff. So if you have any questions about how to manage your account, how to take care of a late payment or anything like that, you'll be going through Wells Fargo. Bilt has more of the fun aspect of the relationship there. They navigate all of the rewards and opportunities and promos that they do and offer on the card. I don't know if you can hear that, but my cat is aggressively pooping and scraping the litter box right now, so we'll just wait for that to be done. Normally, if you want to pay your rent with a credit card, there's a surcharge, there's a fee to do so. And now my cat just keeps pooping. Can you be done? Please be done. Or are you gonna keep scraping? I would love for you to be done. Okay, she's done. She's done pooping. Now you might be wondering, what makes the Bilt card so unique that it deserves its own video? Well, normally when you want to pay your rent, if you pay it with a credit card, there's going to be some sort of surcharge or fee, usually like 2 or 3% in order to do so. However, Bilt allows you to make those payments with no fee. Now you're making 1 point per dollar spent on rent, which isn't like a crazy multiplier or anything, but that's maybe $1,000, $2,000, maybe even $3,000 a month that you're now getting back in points that you weren't previously. Now there are other ways to earn points on the card too. Bilt offers 3 times back on dining, 2 times on travel, and then 1 time on all other purchases, which are some pretty respectable numbers for a no-fee credit card. Now I've seen some pretty cool features on this card that are pretty surprising for a card with no annual fee. I'm used to seeing these on more of like the Chase or Amex cards. So some examples are trip delay reimbursement, trip cancellation insurance, secondary coverage on auto rentals, cell phone protection, so if you pay your cell phone bill with the Bilt card, it'll reimburse you if you lose your phone or break it. Purchase protection, which is just a blanket coverage for any purchase that you make with the card for 90 days afterwards, covers theft or breakage. And just an extended warranty that adds on to the manufacturer's warranty of any other item that you buy with the card. Another fun benefit of the Bilt program is that on the first of every month, it's what's called a rent day. On rent day, all of the purchases that you make on the card, excluding your rent, are doubled. So that means you get 6 points on dining, 4 times on travel, and 2 times points on everything else that you get. They also have some fun quizzes and surveys and things like that, where if you do well enough compared to everyone else who participated, you could earn some rewards points that way. I've done it a couple times, but I haven't won anything yet, so I wouldn't really rely on that for making a ton of points. They also have this interesting thing where, depending on how many points you earn in a year, you'll get a different status on the card. And these statuses, I haven't really seen much with them aside from maybe you can redeem your points for higher values when used towards rent. But usually the cash value of your rewards points isn't that great anyways. So you'd have to be maybe at like the top tier level, which is 100,000 points a year, in order for that to maybe make sense. But I'd say you're better off just using this for transfer partners. Now you might be wondering, with all these points that we've gained from paying rent, from paying for dining and travel and all these other things, how do we use them? What can we do with them? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll give you maybe 5 or so different ways that you can use the points, going from what I think is probably the worst way to use them to the best way. Now the worst way to use your points is probably just as a statement credit. Whoa, dropped my card. Statement credit. Because you might only get a rate of 0.5 to 0.6 cents per point, which is not great because for reference, you generally want to be shooting for about 1 cent per point when you're redeeming them and try to beat that. Now maybe a little bit better than that would be using your points to redeem them for some of the things that they advertise, like Soul Cycle classes, NBA tickets. There are like some experiences that you can use the points for to redeem for tickets. So that's probably not the best way to use them, but that is an option. Then, like I kind of mentioned before, you can use the points to redeem them for rent payments. And now the range that you could get, it varies a little bit based off of what tier you're on, but I'm gonna put it at maybe like, 0.5 to 0.8 cents per point. I still just don't think that this is a great use of your points. Now starting to get into the positive range of ways that I think are probably maybe a good value and way to use your points. First is booking travel through the Bilt travel portal. So on the Bilt website, they have a travel portal where you can go in, search up flights, search up all these different things. You can use your points towards these flights, and then you can either use your points to offset part of the purchase or cover the entire thing. This is a little different from my number one recommendation, which is actually using the transfer partners that Bilt offers. Some examples would be American Airlines, Hyatt Hotels, I think Marriott's in there. But these are the best ways because a lot of times when you transfer your points from Bilt to these other partners, you'll get much more than the 1 cent per point. Now, if you've got to this point and you're wondering like, oh my gosh, this guy seems like he's really drunk the Kool-Aid, or like he's sponsored by Bilt or like a part of the team or something, and no, I'm not sponsored by Bilt, but I would love to if you're watching. It's really because I haven't found a good alternative to the Bilt card for what it does. Its defining feature is being able to pay rent with no fees. And depending on how you use it, you may just want to use it for that, which is pretty much how I use it. And let's be honest, if you're getting the Bilt card, it's mostly because you just want to get rewards points on your rent payments. So who should get the Bilt card? I think anyone who rents, because it's really a no-brainer if you can start making rewards points off of a payment that you're already making with no added cost to you at all, because it's a free card. And even if you don't rent, if you're a homeowner or you're paying a mortgage, Bilt has even announced that they're working towards a feature where you can use the card to pay your mortgage. Now, is the Bilt card worth it? If you don't want to pay any money, get rewards points for a payment that you're already making at no additional cost to you, I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to see a reason why you wouldn't get the card because there's not really a cost to you. The only catch to this card that I mentioned earlier, and I will let you know now, is that in order to earn points on the card each month, you just have to make 5 transactions. And you're like, is that it? That really is it. So you make your rent payment and maybe you go out and get a coffee every once in a while during the month. Well, just throw those transactions on this card. By the end of the month, you'll have, your rent payment plus maybe like 50, 60 bucks or something in other purchases on the card. And you mostly are just using it for your rent payments. So it's really not that hard to maximize the benefit of this card. Now, as a final bonus, the best way that I think you can use this Bilt credit card is by combining the points that you earn with those from other credit cards that you have in your arsenal towards the same transfer partners. And this is my favorite way to use the Bilt points because I combine them with points that I've gotten from my Amex Gold card, combine them to the same transfer partner, and it's so much easier to get the points racked up to put towards, airline tickets and things like that. And if you want to learn more about the Amex Gold card, I'll put a link to my video in the corner of the screen so you can learn about how it paid for my trip to Egypt and how maybe you can get it to do the same for you. Thanks.